You know how you only need a lawyer when things go bad in your life? That's sort of the same way that townsfolk view witchers. Much like lawyers, no one really likes them because you know they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg for their services. Nightmare of the Wolf looks back at the complicated history between witchers and the regular folks who employ them. So let's take a look at this and the other biggest revelations from the anime film. It's evident that hiring a monster hunter is a grudge purchase, and there's a lot of tension and hostility as a result of this. But what's the issue here? Well, the people believe there's a big conspiracy that witchers are creating monsters to make sure there's always work for them. Sort of like how IT people add infinite programs to your computer that actually work against each other in the long run. So these folks don't like him because they feel as if they're being ripped off by people creating problems where there were none to begin with. Of course, someone like Vesemir thinks that this is completely outrageous and just pure jealousy of how super duper cool witchers are, until he realizes they're actually right. Yikes. While there are monsters in this world, Vesemir discovers that many of them are actually manufactured to keep the witchers in business. You know, basic supply and demand.
There'll always be another monster.
After hunting down Kitsu, he finally figures out that his mentor Deglan had been playing around with mutagenic alchemy and creating a pool of monsters, proving that the townsfolk weren't conspiracy theory whack jobs at all. The Elder Witcher's reasoning is that his actions create a burning need for witchers in the world. It's a devilish plan to ensure that humanity doesn't destroy them. As he tells Vesemir, the only thing keeping men from hunting us are the scarier beasts we keep away. While the methods are certainly questionable and deceitful, it becomes a larger discussion about humanity and society, and how everyone fears what they don't really understand. At the same time, if you're charging people to get rid of a problem that you created in the first place, well, you can't be too surprised when you become public enemy number one. It raises the question though, are witchers actually the unsung heroes or dastardly villains for creating these monstrosities that terrorize towns? Well, if you're Vesemir, you certainly want to change this perception. Even though Deglan was a bad dude with questionable morals, his last message to his protege was one of raising better men.
So you're boys now, young fella. Make 'em witchers. Make 'em something more.
Fast forward in time and Geralt of Rivia is now a monster hunter. While he still has to deal with the townsfolk who don't like him too much, it's clear as day that witchers aren't hunting the monsters they create, but actual real ones. This proves one thing: Vesemir changed things. Even though he disagreed with his mentor's actions and methods at the end of the day, he heeded his request and raised a better generation of witchers. Kaer Morhen might be gone, but it's for the better as it allowed for a full-blown reset here. Also, judging by Vesemir and Geralt's relationship in the video games, it's a much closer bond than what Vesemir had with Deglan. He isn't in the business of being a ruthless mentor and breaking down his students to make them feel worthless. He's certainly no John Kreese from Cobra Kai. Instead, Vesemir had a positive impact on the witchers, even if the townsfolk are still proving a little difficult to convert into fans.
The two witches should be tried and executed, no questions asked.
Maybe he's living by the mantra of walk the walk instead of talking it, being an inspiration rather than a braggart. One definite change is that Vesemir doesn't look to be in the business of killing children like his mentor Deglan was. Yes, that's exactly what he did at Kaer Morhen, in case you didn't notice. Don't you remember one of the earlier conversations that Vesemir and Deglan had? The young trainee asked his mentor how many kids survived the brutal trial. Without missing a beat, Deglan replied, "How many are witchers?" Now, while in the real world we imagine that these children failed the tests and Deglan just sent them back home with their tails between their legs, we all know that isn't true. If you didn't survive these trials, you'd die. If you got sent back home, it'd be in several pieces or a coffin. End of story. There were no second chances because Deglan was one ruthless SOB. Fortunately, Vesemir seems to value life a little bit more than the grumpy old witcher. Look, we all love Geralt of Rivia. There's something endearing about his dry sense of humor and his over-reliance on one single swear word.
Fuck.
But you wouldn't exactly call Geralt a people person by any means. He prefers to be on his own and grunt answers at you, if you even get a reply. Well, it's kinda interesting how he turned out considering his mentor's personality. Judging by Nightmare of the Wolf, Vesemir's the life of the party. Yeah, he's cocky, self-assured, and sarcastic, but he's entertaining to listen to all the time. Think of him like the Johnny Cage of the Witcher universe. Though there's a major caveat here. Vesemir was all of those things before he became the young Witcher's mentor, so maybe he had to tone down all the excessive personality quirks to become the leader they needed. That being said, the older Vesemir in the game still seems entertaining, so perhaps it's just Geralt who's a bit of a stick in the mud. Seriously, just because you hunt monsters doesn't mean you have to be miserable, right? It seems like 2021 is going to be the year of The Witcher, as December brings us the second season of the hit TV show. If you haven't watched it yet, let us convince you with a video about all the major reasons you need to check it out. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!